guys ready, and I'm going to turn you guys over to Coach Matt, and he would chat with you guys and all that kind of stuff. Coach Matt, um, all yours.
Thank you again, Coach Roy. And just want to say it's a blessing to be part of this. You've done an amazing job with everything you do. So thank you again. Everyone, Happy New Year. It's good to see everybody and be here with you guys. I had an amazing experience over there in Trinidad, and honestly, some of the most amazing people I've ever met. Such a beautiful culture, great people, very welcoming, and great footballers. All the players at all the different ages were really, really good, and there's a lot of potential moving forward. The biggest things I've noticed were there's a lot of skill, a lot of talent, but the things I really look for in a player are players that can play simple, can play quick. Obviously, I want you to be creative, and I saw all of that there, but you have to make sure you're always consistently staying dedicated to the game, not just with the football aspect of it, the school aspect of it as well. Because like Coach Roy was saying, it's very, very important, especially when you're getting a scholarship, that you're going to be able to do your academics as well. And that's how some schools are able to stack and allow you to really get more scholarship money and to make it affordable. So there's all different types of things that you have to do while you're getting prepared. Obviously, you want to prepare with football as much as you can, but you want to make sure you're also becoming a better person, being a better son, being a better daughter, every aspect in life. Because the culture of our programs are the most important thing to us. We want to make sure we're bringing very good people, so that way we're able to make sure that we can trust everything that's going to be around us and we're building something special. Because what we try to do with our programs is we try to create a family. And I don't want to just be there for a small part of your college career. I want to make sure I'm there for the rest of your life. I want to make sure that I'm able to help you grow as a person and prepare you for everything that you can accomplish in life. And a lot of players that I've coached at the different schools I've worked at, I've stayed in touch with, and I've helped them get jobs. I've helped them get through school. And to me, they're always going to be family to me. And that's something I want for all of you guys. Rather, if it's my school or any other school, you have to make sure you're staying dedicated, because that's when you're going to have the most success. And honestly, you guys are all very, very genuine people that I've met. And I love the culture. I want to be back out there. I want to help you guys as much as I possibly can. And honestly, I was talking to my family about it today, but my favorite food I've had also was roti. And I definitely miss it over there right now. But no, it's been a real joy to really get to know everybody. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what scholarship opportunities we can arrange with you guys to try to make sure that we're giving you guys opportunities to move on and bettering your future. And I look forward to speaking with you guys if you guys have any questions after Coach Roy and everybody else speaks as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matt. Much appreciated, man. In terms of your feedback, Matt, I just have a couple of questions because we have you for a certain time frame. Give the kids and their parents a feel to, in terms of, Matt, the level of soccer that is being played at collegiate level in the US.
So it's a very high level at all the different levels. So within the college game, you have Division I, Division II, Division III, NJCA, which is junior college, which is a 2-year school. You have there's a lot of different types of leagues around the country, and they're all very, very competitive. So just because you might be at a D2, D3 doesn't mean that they're not competitive with the D1 level. It's just a matter of the size of the school and what personal fit you need. So let's say even for players from my team, on my women's team, I had players from different national teams around the world. I had a girl from Sporting Lisbon. I had players from, on the men's side, professional academies throughout the world. We represented over 17 different countries. A lot of players in the NAI level are international, and you play against a lot of the players from like places like Sporting Lisbon and Benfica, and you could play players from literally all over. And that's the cool thing about the college game is it brings so many different cultures together. If you look in the Premier League, there's actually been some of the players out there that came from the United States as well, from the college game. So, I mean, you are competing with the best, which is absolutely amazing. And even at the junior college level, a lot of people don't know about it, but it's very, very competitive. And it's actually competitive with places like Division One. So if you're going to be able to get an opportunity like that, you're going to be able to prove yourself. First of all, it'd be a little bit more affordable at times, and you'll be able to get noticed by big schools. Like I had a couple of my friends play junior college coming out of high school, and they had full rides going over to D1s after. So, I mean, it just all depends on like what you want, what's your personal fit. If like for me, when I was a player, I went to an NAI school and I was getting recruited by D2s, D1s, but I wanted to go to a smaller school because I knew that would be the best academic fit for me, where I could have more help with the teachers and I'm able to get to know everybody throughout the school. And I felt that was a family oriented thing that I wanted to have. So honestly, you can find very competitive levels at any level you go to. It's just going to be a matter of the personal fit that you want to go to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matt. What about, could you enlighten us to, in terms of, you know, the level that you see in Trinidad and the level that is being played right now in the US, and also to the speed, the game speed, and also the physique of the players?
So one of the biggest differences I've seen is just the style is a little bit different. Over in the United States, it depends on what team you play for, what coach you play for. There's a lot of different types of styles of play because you'll have English coaches, you'll have Brazilian coaches, Argentinian coaches, Jamaican coaches, coaches from all over the world. So you have all different types of style. And for instance, like when we're playing the NAI, especially like in Florida, you're playing against a lot of English players or German players, and like these big players are very, very physical. So like Coach Roy has mentioned before, the gym is definitely something very important. You want to get very, very big, but you want to make sure you're strong enough that you're able to compete with some of these very physical players. The speed of play is one of the biggest things. When you have a 1v1 opportunity in front of goal, we want you to be creative. We want you to make sure that you're expressive and being able to be yourself. But you also have to make sure that you're able to play quick, and you have to be very, very aware of what's around you. So that's something that I noticed that needs to be a little bit worked on, especially getting ready for the college game, is the speed of play. So could you play 1-2 touch? Could you play in tight spaces? Could you make the right pass? And that's some of the biggest things I look for, because I look for something with more. The IQ of the game is the most important thing to me. I want to make sure that players know what they're doing when you have to problem solve for yourself as well. So I'm always looking to play more of a tiki-taka style football, looking to play 1-2 touch. But obviously, when you're in the attacking third, I want you to be creative and be able to express yourself. But the speed of play, especially throughout the college game, is very, very quick. So that's something you have to definitely get used to.
Thank you very much, Matt. Much appreciated, and we would open it up again later on again, Matt, as we continue pressing forward. As I said, more people are joining to what we're doing here, and we'll open it up for questions, Matt, later on, so we can chit chat some more on it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Matt. I know you're going to be here with me right now, and I know you are also lining up to maybe later on to do some traveling with me to other Caribbean countries coming up soon in terms of what we do. So Matt, thank you so much again. Much appreciate you in terms of it, and I will be able to speak with you a little bit later on. Yes, Matt, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much for, as I said, for being here and you know, spending time with us tonight to be able to move forward and chat tonight on what we're doing. We have a number of you guys here logged on already, and the numbers continue to grow. We have some people on by phone and different social media sites and all that kind of stuff that we have here. And then I know we have a number of speakers coming from the bank itself, First Citizens Bank, to chat with us on different things like student loans, student cards, that kind of stuff, because it's very important that we can chit chat with you and build those supporting systems around you to assist you with going forward. And I have to be honest with you guys, and I'm not trying to tap my shoulders for anything, but this is very, very much, you know, this is unprecedented in terms of what we're doing here. This hasn't been done throughout the Caribbean region and any part of the world. And as Coach Rick had spoken to you guys in Trinidad about, it's the first time someone have ever had a college showcase and have a professional coach in the midst of it, looking at players for players to development. So things that we are doing here is just totally outside the box in terms of what we are doing here to open up doors for you and create opportunities. And I see we have two of our guests from First Citizens Bank with us tonight to chat with you pertaining to a number of wonderful things that they have that would be able to help you in terms of going forward. Good night, ladies. Trust all is well.
Good night.
Good night, Simona. How are you?
Excellent.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I think I don't want to pronounce the name right. Please guide me with the name, our other guest.
Good night.
Beautiful. Your mic is on. And Simona mic is on. Beautiful. I'll turn it over to you ladies, and you ladies can take over the show and chat with us. I am, you know, open to listen and learn and all that kind of stuff in terms of loans and student loans and student cards. So I'm going to turn it over to you ladies, and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Roy, Mr. Miller, parents and students, and specially invited guests. My name is Simona Sisnet. I am the acting team lead of our digital sales unit. I would like to also introduce my colleague, Rohini Nankumar and Matika Critchlow, who will be joining us shortly. All right, Rohini is a loans officer at our Shogunas branch, and Matika Critchlow is a marketing officer at the credit card center. Right, so I'm not seeing everyone on screen. I know we have a lot of y'all here, and it's just to do a little icebreaker, just to get to know some of you. And simple question. So I just want to ask, what sort of fans we dealing with? DC or Marvel? Now we have a lot of athletes here. So I will start.
Marvel.
I'm a Marvel star, Marvel fan. So who answered me just now? Mr. Roy, was that you?
No. No.
I'm seeing a lot of Marvel stars here. So who is your favorite character? Hazel Lewis.
Captain America Wolverine.
Wow, nice. DC, one lonely DC here. Nice. Nice. Okay. So we have a lot of Marvel fans here. Okay. All right. So thank you very much for sharing. Right. And so we are here to discuss. I know we all have aiming to hear information on what we have to offer in terms of our loans and credit cards. So I will very quickly pass you over to Ms. Rohini Nankumar, who will discuss with you our student loan. Rohini?
Yeah. Hi, good night. So the student loan is a low interest loan facility which provides financial assistance to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who have a continued period of residency for at least 3 years prior to the application. The help loan is managed by the Funding and Grant Administration Division of the Ministry of Education, and it covers tuition as well as non-tuition expenses related to tertiary education. So basically, the students' eligibility for the help loans, in addition to assisting students who benefit from GATE funding, the help loan has been expanded to allow the following students to access loans. And these are students who are not eligible for GATE funding. That is students who possess a bachelor's degree or other certification, students enrolled in programs approved by the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago, students enrolled in technical and vocational educational training programs at level 3 and above, and students pursuing postgraduate studies that are aligned with the strategic development of Trinidad and Tobago. Students must be under the age of 50 years to apply, and students whose household income is less than 75,000 per month. So basically, the help loan program go hand in hand with the GATE funding developed by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. So therefore, the funding will only cover for students that are residency and citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? The help loan covers part and sometimes all of the following, which includes tertiary fees, accommodation expenses, airfare, other relevant transportation costs, living expenses, books and related materials, other materials for tertiary expenses. Right? So the loan available, the quantum for the loan should not exceed 35,000 per year for a 3-year student pursuing programs within Trinidad and Tobago. And loans for students enrolled in the medical programs in Trinidad and Tobago would not exceed 175,000 for the 5-year of the program. And loans for students enrolled in medical programs at an approved regional institution would not exceed 375,000 for the 5-year program. Right, so basically the help loan application process is very simple. The students will apply through any of the commercial banks. So they will, you could go to the ministry website, you could download the help loan application form. Once you complete it, you submit it with all the relevant documents. The documents are basically your birth certificate, 2 forms of ID, a utility bill, a letter stating the breakdown of the school fees, your acceptance letter to the program, 2 references in writing. Any member of the household that is working, we need to get job letters and pay slips. And also for the household, if there are any liabilities in terms of debts like loans, credit card, hire purchase, we need to get balance letters from the institution. Once it's a new student applying for the help loan, we need your a copy of your registration form with the institution as well as the acceptance letter. And if you are continuing student, say you already completed year 1 of your program and you need funding for year 2 and 3, we need to get your results from your last year, as well as evidence that you are continuing the course. Once you submit that to the bank will process your application by pulling the necessary credit checks. We will complete the application and package it and send it to the Funding and Grant Administration Division attached with the Ministry of Education to determine the final decision. The ministry usually takes a 6-week period in order to access the application and make a decision. Once a decision has been made, the application will be sent to the bank for approval or the decline. So basically, once it's approved, we contact the students and we disburse the loan. So basically, the loan right now is stand at an interest rate of 7.44. The government of Trinidad and Tobago responsible to pay 4%, and the student is responsible to pay the difference, which is 3.44%. And you all have a maximum of 10 years to repay the loan.
Questions need to be asked in terms of all the different things, local student versus international students. And then you came and say, you know, maximum age of 50, that kind of throw coach out of that. Coach is just thrown out of that, just like that. You can't even ask for a loan, you know what I mean? At what, 3%? Well, that is good. Government paying 4%, and then you have to pay 3% to get money at 3%. That is not bad at all. That is excellent, to be honest with you. That is really, really excellent in terms of that. And let me ask you a question though. How in terms of the loans itself versus the interest, is the interest, how do you in terms of making payment, could you pay on the principal first, and then when you finish school you pay the interest? How does it work, or everything is just combined together?
No, basically the help loan is in 2 phases. Phase 1 is if the student is going to school full-time. Yes. The government pays the interest until the students complete the course, right? Once they complete the course, based on the expected completion date that the institution will provide us with in a letter format, the government allow the students 6 months grace period in order for them to gain employment of their own. Once that 6 months has passed, the students now has to visit the institution to convert the facility where they will start to make payments. So then they will have to make their payment, principal and interest, at a rate of 3.44.
Oh, yeah. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Thank you so much for the information, Marina. And anything you would like to add to what the information, the very, very important information that you share, because to be honest with you, I don't think this thing is fully grasped or understand or even known about. Throughout the length and breadth in terms of Trinidad. Few people have this information in Trinidad, and this work too for what, local and foreign schools and that kind of stuff. How does it work for the both of them?
Right. So basically, the help loan program was developed by the government of Trinidad and Tobago for really the citizens and residency for Trinidad and Tobago. So that program is the funding will only be granted for those particular students. However, if we have to do loans for, say, foreign students and their parents reside in Trinidad, the loan will have to be done in the parents' name in order to grant the funding for their student to pursue the course through the region.
Okay, so beautiful. So also, so what you're saying to me too is that, for instance, we have someone in Trinidad that get a scholarship, right? And they're going off to study in the US, then that could be worked out, right? Because the parents is in Trinidad and Tobago, they're Trinidad and Tobago residents, they're headed to school in the United States. Then that would be able to put together in terms of the interest and all that different kind of stuff. That's what you're saying, yes?
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's the one that we are aiming for. That's the one we are interested in. I have to be honest with you, you've really caught me by surprise here, because I have so many kids I've sent to school and they could have accessed this thing at that kind of interest rate. They could have accessed this. So now I really need to sit down and have some more discussions now with this, because the amount of kids that I help in school, this is really a helping hand for kids, because as you mentioned, this will help with plane tickets, It will help with all the different things that you need to have. Laptops, this is another thing. Kids need to leave here with laptops. There's no, it's not like school in Trinidad anymore with teachers you know, giving you homework and you have to be writing things down. That is kind of not really happening in the world right now. Everything is laptops. Yeah, everything is calculated, everything is laptops. Homework is being sent. If you get work on you get a project to work on, you have to send that to the teacher by email. That's how it's functioning in the United States now. So they're getting you ready for the world that you're going to be able to, you know, function there properly, that kind of stuff. Rowena, thank you so kindly for your time and the information that you shared. I would hope that notes were taken from parents and student athletes, and please hold those notes and those questions for when we have the question and answers. We're going to bring all the guests up on the screen. Everyone faces is going to be on the screen, and then you could ask questions, and then we would be able to answer your questions as we go along. So Rena, thank you so kindly for the information that you shared with us. Thanks again, and speak to you soon at the latter end of the program.
Sure, no problem.
Beautiful. I would just throw out there to Rowena to reply to later down in the show. If kids are already in school in the US, right? I would ask that question again, Rowena. I know you're there, you don't need to answer it now, but I would ask that question later on. Sure, if kids are already in school and they could show their TB, please do me a favor and keep your mic off for me, please. Tap TB. Thank you very much, TB. Yes. If they are in school ready, could they still apply for these loans and that kind of stuff? Because I have a number of kids from Trinidad. I think last year I had over 5 or 6 kids. I had left Trinidad for school or more, and then different Caribbean areas. Yes. By the time. Okay, Matika, all yours.
Good night, everyone. So I'm here to talk about the tertiary facility. That's a credit card which will allow students to have access to US and funds while abroad, right? The requirements for this would be that you are supposed to get a guarantor. So the card will be in the student's name, and the guarantor or the person who is financially responsible for the facility, if the student is not working or not getting a stipend from their parents, they can access a guarantor. A guarantor can be anybody who is willing to be financially responsible for the facility. Some of the requirements are the guarantor, we have to get job letter, payslip, IDs, and proof of address for the person that is going to be financially responsible. And they then has to give us a letter indicating that they would be financially responsible. They are taking the responsibility on paying for this facility. And for the students, we have to get their acceptance letter. Now, they can already be enrolled, but they must have a minimum of two years remaining before we can action the facility. So if you're coming to the end in your last year, we can't apply it to you. If you're from the beginning, we can, or the first 2 years of a 4-year program. Let's see, is there anything? Everybody understand? You all hearing me clearly, right?
Yes, they are. They're hearing you. Just their mics are off, so we keep their mics off, so they're hearing you.
Okay. The interest rate on this facility is 1.75 per month, and you pay a membership fee of $75. The card, however, is in the student's name, and it allows them to build their credit. So while you are paying for the facility, it gives the student the opportunity to build their credit while going to school. So when they get a job now, they are able to convert the facility to a regular credit card. So this is like a preparation for them from in university, start building their credits and managing. So the parent or the guarantor has the opportunity to allow the student to manage the card. If it is you are giving them a stipend, while you are financially responsible, you can allow them the opportunity to pay for the card through their account on their own.
So once again, thank you so kindly. And do we have another guest, I believe, coming from First Citizens Bank to chat with us again? No?
No, Mr. Roy, no.
Okay. What about yourself? Do you? Okay, beautiful. And were you supposed to make a presentation, Simona? No?
What I can add to my colleagues is that we also offer loans. So parents can take loans to aid their children in their endeavors. So you can borrow and allocate funds towards the studies as well. That option is there. So we have the option of the help loans, we have the option of the student cards. I know there are some constraints with US cash. So the credit cards are a good way to allocate US funds towards the studies.
Beautiful.
I'm
Beautiful.
seeing someone with a question, Alison Castellino.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do, we are going to get down to the questions and answers in about 5 minutes time. So
Sure.
what we will do is just a couple of things I just want to add in here, and then we will get into the questions and answers. And because I want everyone to be able to jot down whatever they want to ask. So when we start asking questions, we would get into that, right? So thank you so much again for your time and your information you shared with us. And I'm going to just add a couple things, and then we're going to get into the questions and answers, right?
Sure.
Thank you so kindly. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Thank you, guys, once again. Thank you for being here, and we're going to get into the questions and answers now with all the different guests, Matthew and all the different guests from the bank, to have further discussions. I hope you guys have a lot of questions, because a lot of these things too, if you look at them, they are good interest rates, guys. Yes, they are very, very good interest rates, and the way how these things are being sorted out for you to pay them back, it's really not putting pressure on you up front or in the middle. It's organizing from you. When the process is finished, you have 10 years to pay off it, what, 5 years of school or 4 years of school, 6 months, I believe, if I heard correctly, 6 months grace period, and then you would be able to organize to make those payments. Trust me, you're going to need finances if you are coming to school here. Even if you get a full scholarship, this is very important, guys. A lot of people have a feeling or have this feeling that you get a full scholarship, they're going to pay for your ticket, they're going to pay for your meals, they're going to pay everything for you. Let me be honest and truthful for you. There's no such thing. And whoever shared that information, they were not 100% correct. Yes, one, no school pays for your plane tickets to go to the United States. It just doesn't happen. You have to pay for that for yourself. The school also, they do not pay for your visa appointment in the embassy. You have to pay for that yourself. I think there's a $300 and something US to a fee to that needs to be paid in the process. Yes, guys, these things are not going to be covered by your school. And based on the scholarship that you receive, that will determine the kind of money that you need to get. I want to make that abundantly clear. There's no such thing as leaving Trinidad and Tobago and you do not have to pay for anything. Whoever is giving you that information, please erase it from your mind. It's not true. Yes, for you to get a full scholarship in the school right now, you need to have a grade point average somewhere 4 point something, 3.5, 3.8, 0.9, all of the way there, you don't need a grade point average, guys, to really get good money from a school. Now, from a junior college to, you know, you might not need that sort of, you know, curvature in your grade point average. But they too can offer you a very good scholarship. And you get in a two-year school, and then you move from a 2-year school and you come up the ladder to college after that, right? But you are not going to get, as I said to you, a free ride to a school. It does not happen. Not even the kids in the United States and all get a free ride to school. And they qualify for a lot of things they qualify for. As a US resident or a US citizen, you qualify for a number of things that you're going to get finances to help you with your school. And it's much more easier you being a resident. Now, that being said, something was brought to my attention. I knew about it before, but being so busy, I did not raise that before. A number of you guys are US residents and US citizens. It's a bit easier for you guys to get into school here in the US. A bit easier, not a bit easier, very much easier for you to get into school here in the US. And there are a number of finances you can draw from different things through the school system. Will show you how to apply for it. And that finances you don't have to pay back. Those are benefits of being a US resident or US citizen to get in schools here. So if you are one, I know there are some of you here from Trinidad. Those are things that would help you, and coaches would love that kind of stuff. When they find out that you are a resident or a citizen, they will gravitate to you too, because they don't have to put out a lot of money for you. Practically, they might not even have to put out any money at all from their budget for you. Now, I want you to understand how this thing is done. It's a balancing act that these coaches do. They have so much money and they want to strengthen their team. It's like just the way how the professional leagues are run in terms of how coaches and management balance the finances. It's the same way how schools does it. That's the same way the school does the same thing. Like for instance, a club is not a coach that has a budget of, let's say, 300,000 US for scholarships, right? We just want to give that. Let's say we give 300,000 US, or let's say 200,000 US. A coach has in a university, and that school is let's say 45,000 US a year. Please note, that coach will try to get as much players in that university as possible. I want you to fully understand that for that coach to say, hey, it's $45,000 a year for 4 years. I am going to give you $45,000 a year out of my budget for 4 years. You really got to be a top player for a coach to do that. You don't understand kind of stuff, guys. That is why I say to you, you got to get in the gym. You got to get your marks and your grades up. You got to put on some size. As Matthew is there, you got to play faster. You got to start playing more one-touch soccer. You got to get yourself together, because all those ingredients come together to organize so you can get more finances to school. How you play the game, your attitude, how you carry yourself, your grades, that kind of stuff. All those things matter in terms of schooling. And a coach is not just picking you based on your soccer premise. That coach will make sure that you could settle down in school and you graduate, because that is on him. If you go to a school and you don't graduate in that school, that is not good for a coach's record of bringing a kid to school, specifically an international student, and that student did not graduate. That is not good, because that is like wasted money for the school. They pay 25,000 or 15,000 or whatever money a year in schooling for you, and you don't graduate. That is not good, right? That is not good. So that being said, guys, as I said before, we have a number of things that we're planning. I'm going to open up the mic now and let the guests come up and you can ask questions. As I said before, we have a number of things that we're planning. Trinidad, we're putting together something for March. We're hoping that we will have the relevant persons that I'm looking at. Trust me, we are working on some top people to come to Trinidad to do, and Tobago, to do a four-day camp, 2 days in Tobago and a weekend in Trinidad. And as I said, we are bringing some top people down in Trinidad. Some of them, you know of them, you see them on television a lot. We are working on them right now, communicating with them and looking at the best time to do it, where we want to have it in a camp style. It's not going to be for 2 hours on that Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be something like 4 or 5 hours. It's going to be the camp where meals and everything, we want to put that involved, and water and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be like training and development and presentations being done and that kind of stuff, where it's a full development camp where you have guys who play professional soccer, coaching in the MLS and that kind of stuff would be able to chat with you. Those are the kind of people right now who are very much interested in coming down with what I'm doing to do that camp. So get ready for that in March. And we're putting that together. Then we're working towards another camp again in July in Trinidad. Form 1s, Form 2s, Form 3s, Form 4 and Form 5s. We want to do a 2 weeks camp down in beginning of July. And that camp is to really get kids ready from an early age so they can start preparing themselves for colleges and universities. One of the issues we're dealing with is kids in lower 6 and upper 6, and they are way behind the 8 ball, but I can still get you in school. Just if you were getting yourself ready from Form 1 and Form 2, you would have been better prepared with your SATs, high score. You would have gotten your grade point up to 3.8, 4 point something. That's a lot of money schools are going to give you. I have a kid right now where school not too far away from where I am, maybe about 2 or 3 hours from where I'm at in Pennsylvania. And that kid missed a lot of money because that kid grade point average is, I think is 3, and it has to be 3.5. And this is what I was saying to you guys, that between that 3 and that 3.5, guys, that is about $15,000 there. So the coach cannot take that kid. And that kid was in the camp with us. This is the information I want you guys to understand. Just 0.4, 0.5 is a difference of that kind of money we're talking about there. And that school is a very expensive school. And the coach loved that kid. But there's nothing the coach can do. And that kid was with us Saturday and Sunday when we were in Trinidad in the event. Nice kid, bright, smart, just those grades, just getting those points up there is the difference. And if his parents have to send him to school, then they have to come up with that kind of money for him to attend that school. That is what I'm talking about, guys. Just point something. That's the difference between getting, maybe a C or C plus, or, a B or B plus. Right between there, guys, in school is the difference. So when some of you guys are in school, you guys understand now what I'm breaking this down now for you to understand how important this thing is. The difference between getting a C and a B, or getting a C or a D, or a C or C plus. That has a lot of bearing. That can cost you thousands of US dollars when your grade point is calculated. Yeah, beautiful. And then, as I said, we are looking again for at the end of from the 17th of August to the 30th of August, we are putting on Fort Lauderdale event. I know a lot of people there are very, very interested in us coming down there. That one is going to be wonderful too, where we would be able to play against colleges, universities, high schools. We would be able to tour some of the professional stadiums. We would be able to tour some of the universities. And around that time, the reason why we put it at that time too, you would be able to see maybe 1 or 2 college games at the end before you leave, so you could see what college soccer is like. And then in the Fort Lauderdale area, you have the Sawgrass Mall, which is one of the biggest malls in the US. It's huge, one of them. You have everything inside of there, shopping, and you're not going to be far away from that, where the hotel is. in Inverary. That hotel has golf course and all that kind of stuff, pool, everything there. Caribbean food right around the corner. The groceries is walking distance, and it's a Caribbean community, and you have a number of shopping areas. So we are feverishly getting all those things organized, and that is going to be a good one for you to go on, because you would be playing colleges and universities and getting that experience and traveling and seeing the schools that you are vying for, and coaches from different schools will be out to look at these games. And that is the kind of stuff we are putting on for you. So those are the things we have planned for Trinidad. I wouldn't go into the plans for the different Caribbean islands. I know we have some people here from different Caribbean islands, but I'm in discussions with a number of them, and I should be traveling to some of them too, to put a lot of things in place for them. So let's bring the guests back up that we have. I hope you guys are ready with your questions, that we can ask a number of questions. I have a number of questions that I'd like to ask. So Matthew, you can turn on your camera if you hear Matthew. Everyone who was up on the screen, you can turn on your cameras, and then we can go. So when you're ready, Matthew, I think your camera, you can turn it on. If you have any questions, you can you could, you know, put up your hand. I know Alison Castellano wanted to ask a question. Alison, you can, okay, beautiful. You're off the mark, Alison. You go, girl.
Good night, Coach Roy, and to all the other speakers. My question was concerning Miss Nan Kumar. What I would like to find out is if a parent already has an existing loan with the FCB Bank, would the student be able or still be able to get that loan that is required for their use?
Yes, if the parents already have a loan in their name, the student can apply for the help loan facility, because the help loan facility will be the student name. If, however, they cannot qualify, they does not meet the criteria for the help loan, once the parents' debt service ratio could allow them for additional borrowing, we could do the financing to facilitate the funding for the school.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm seeing D. Frederick from Trinidad. Hands
Hi,
up.
good afternoon. Yes,
Greet.
I'm going to send my questions. I'm going to send it in the chat group. It's for FCB, okay?
Yeah, I know that voice.
Yes, Anthony, that's Donna.
I know that voice. It's
yes.
Donna. It's
Yes,
Donna's
Donna.
voice. Guys, this is one of my staff members here. Donna, you undercover tonight kind of stuff, you know, James Bond undercover kind of stuff. Okay, Donna's gonna send it out here. The question I was asking earlier on, Rita, and let me see if I can remember it. Student athletes who are already attending school. For instance, they attend in school in the US already. They are in school. First year or second year, 2 more years ago. Could they still apply for those loans?
Yes, they could apply for the loan.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else have any questions? You could just like raise your hand on the screen, and then we could go into the bottom where there is questions. Guys, feel free. I know I give you guys permission. You guys could go below the screen to see some of the questions that pertain to you. Hi, I want to know if by chance are student athletes capable of getting possibly a job on campus to help their parents pay. That's a good question. I would let Matt shaking his head, my guy Matt. That's a very good question. Rivers, that's a nice question there. I would add something there, but let Matt, you take it. Go, Matt.
So it depends on the school. I know that there's been a good amount at our school that have been able to get it. It just matter if you apply for it and it's approved. I know a lot of my friends from around the the world have come over to the States and have been able to get jobs on campus. And for instance, some of my players worked in the gym and they did, I'd say, a couple hours a day. So it just depends what's open, but there are definitely opportunities for you to get jobs.
Beautiful, Matt. And that is one of the things that I do to Matt when I get kids into school too. I work with coaches to make sure that that is part of the plan too, that kids would be able to work, because I think you could only work a certain amount of hours per week, right, Matt? I think it is 12 hours or 16 hours or something like that. You're allowed to work per week, or something like 24 or something like that. You're allowed to work. And some of the schools you could work on campus, and then some of the schools too would give you permission, some schools, to work off campus. They have that arrangement. But that is a good question. Some of the schools, so I'll tell you what some of the schools, like for instance, I was getting somebody, Rivers, in Florida International University, top school, Matt knows that school. I was getting somebody in there, and guess how they were organizing for those kids to be able to work? One, they were looking at refereeing and running lines and soccer camps when the coaches doing their own soccer camps. Now you may think about that, Rivers, or coaches or kids in a particular manner, but let me explain to you guys. A referee gets how much? Maybe about $75, 75 US a game, guys. You guys understand? A 60 minutes game gets $75 dollars to referee a game, and 35 or 40 to run lines, somewhere around there, I think it is. So some coaches arrange with kids to do that when they come here. And to get your license to do those things, to become a referee, it's not that hard. It doesn't even take long.
Could I add on to that as well?
Sure.
So there are other opportunities for you to save money as well. So I know some of our players, they became RAs, which are residential assistants. So that means that you're technically working in housing. And let's say you do different events throughout the school, like something that's fun, and you're just typically helping out, but it will sometimes cover all of your costs for your living. So there are different ways that you can go about it. You would have to talk to people at the school, but I know I've had a lot of friends that have been RAs and have really saved a ton of money by doing that as well.
Beautiful. And there's a question here, I believe, from Simona. There's a question here from Donna, right? Student loans, right? Is there an attachment or binding criteria to return to Trinidad and Tobago until the loan is fully paid off?
Rohini, can you answer that question, please? I'm seeing other questions in the chat as well, some earlier questions.
Okay, no problem. Let's take Donna one first in terms of it. Marina, I know you can log in there and you can see it because I give you permission in your system. Donna's question, which is D. Frederick, where she's asking about the loan. Is there an attachment or binding criteria to return to Trinidad and Tobago until the loan is fully paid off?
Right. So the student loan, there's no binding criteria in terms of returning to fully paid it, right? Basically, as I explained earlier, the help loan is in two phases for full-time and part-time students. So if it's a full-time student, once you complete the course, you have to convert the loan into a loan where you have to start to repay it, which is both principal and interest. Only at that point in time, you are required to return to Trinidad in order to submit the documents required to convert the facility where you will make payments on a monthly basis, right? The payments are done through a standing order from your account that goes directly, is automatic payments that go directly towards the loan. If, however, that you cannot, you did not get employed and your parents have to assist with the repayment, you still have to convert it. We have to get a letter from your parents as well as a job letter or payslip to show that they are employed and that they will be able to fulfill the repayment of the said loan. I hope that answered.
This is interesting.
Donna, I think it's
Donna's
Donna questions, yeah.
Yeah, and then she asks about a parent's loan. What is the interest rate on a parent's loan? And then she was asking, yeah, how is the student loan impacted by a change in government? I cannot attend to that one.
Okay, so in terms of the parent loan, the interest rate at First Citizens is tied towards your credit score as well as your debt service ratio. So once we receive the documents required and we access your credit score, then that rate will apply. So the rate will fluctuate. So presently the rates are 9.5 to 11.5. So based on your credit score, the rate will apply. And the next part is how the student loan impacted by the change in government. As indicated, the help loan program was developed in line with the GATE program, and the government of Trinidad and Tobago is the only person that will do changes in terms of what the GATE funding, what is the criteria required for GATE funding, as well as the help funding. So basically it will be based on that.
You know your plans, or don't you know your plans? Your political aspirations, Donna.
I also want to add to Rohini's point on the parents' loan. If you offer security, if security is applied to the loan, it also reduces your interest rate. So the interest rate can go as low as 5% if the loan is fully secured by cash, meaning that if the loan is for 100,000 and we are holding 100,000 as security for that loan, then you get the lowest interest rate. Yeah.
See what is it possible to, you can go through, I know you told me there were other questions there, and I know you have the ability right there if you want to go through some of those questions, anything that relates to I think Hazelland, if the guarantor lives in New York, like I do, and that is something you guys can take. That question, you saw that one from Hazelland, Lois, I believe it is. If the guarantor lives in New York like I do, and currently my nephew is in Trinidad, hoping to come to the US, does that qualify me from being a guarantor?
Good night. I'm gonna take a quick slow. I'll answer that question. I probably would have omitted in my presentation that all guarantors must be living in Trinidad and Tobago, or rather, the income that they receive on a monthly basis must be remitted to a bank in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. So you're looking at that money being deducted through a banking account, coming straight to you guys, that kind of stuff. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Ladies, you want to look there and see if you see any questions that you guys would want to take with the bank. I'm going to look for anything that pertains to soccer, and then I would try to run with it. I'm not seeing any more questions pertaining to that. Anyone else has any more questions for, okay, there's a new question here I'm seeing here. Rivers. Can more than one parent or guardian be admitted as the financial aid towards paying a student loan? Anyone wants to take that question? What he's asking here, could more than one parent, guarantee or be a guarantor of the loan? Is that possible? Father and mother, both sides.
Both parents could assist with repaying the student loan once we got the letter received from both parents, indicate as well as their job letter or payslip to show that they both are employed and both are willing to take the debt on and repay it. So yes, we could. It is not limited.
Not limited. And then I have something I think is Imran Kennedy, if I'm seeing right, kind of parent begin to pay on a loan before the student completes the program. I would think so. Yes.
If it's a student loan, the payments will only commence based on the product type. One, if it's a full-time student, payment to repay the loan will only be done when the student completes the course, right? If it's a part-time student, yes, the parent could pay the loan because part-time student, the loan has to be done, has to start commencement of payment when the ministry grants the approval.
Beautiful. Any more questions, guys, for Coach Matt? Any more questions for me? Any more questions for citizens that you would like to ask? If you do want to text it, you can turn on your microphone. And does all schools require? That's a good. Well, no, not all schools require the SAT. There's a lot of schools right now that. Matt, you want to answer that one?
So since COVID has happened, a lot of schools have changed their policies. If you look at the junior college level, especially, you don't need the SAT. If you, like, for instance, at Weber, it definitely will help you get more scholarship money at times because they'll look at the SAT score, but I wouldn't say necessarily that you need it. They're looking now at sometimes the TOEFL. They'll look at the Duolingo. The Duolingo is another test that they're taking nowadays. The ACT is another one, but like it's not necessarily required, I would say, at a lot of the schools, but it could definitely help with scholarship opportunities.
Any more questions, guys? Any more questions on scholarship, on the coaching, why we were there in Trinidad? Does anyone have any more questions? Please note we are also on other social media platforms right now. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just turn this down. Yeah, we are on different social media platforms right now, guys. So please note, First Citizens, I have you guys being beamed around the world to all my different networks. And cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Coach. Coach Roy reiterated about the students and them who are American citizens that are here in Trinidad. Does the SAT or the lingo, all these things apply to them the same way? Or how should I say it? Or is it that they just have to have a proper grade point average?
It really just depends on like what school you're going to. If you're looking at schools like junior college level, I don't believe you need an SAT to go into there. You just have to worry more about the grade point average, and that will also help with just different types of scholarship opportunities because some schools can stack. Where it comes to other schools like NCAA, NAI, I mean, for a long time, they were doing it for eligibility, but I think with NAI now, it's more so off of the grade point average. If you have a 2.3 average or higher, I believe that you'll be eligible right away. It just all depends on the clearinghouse, and also depends a lot on the school that you're going to. Let's see. Is transfer provided to games free or is there a fee? Good question. So for travel for student athletes, it's all free.
Okay, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Of course. If you have any other questions, don't be shy. I'll definitely answer any questions you have about the school, soccer, anything, even everyday life at the university, because I was a college athlete as well, so I completely understand. Does anyone have any more questions? If you do, you can on talk right away. Let's see. Is it dorms? Is it dorms personal or boys with another person? So that's another very good question. So it depends on the dorm that you're going to. So there's all different types of dorms. You could have single rooms, you could have doubles, you could have triples, you can have quads. And a lot of it, the time, it's also on the scholarship or the money factor of it. So usually it's going to be less expensive if you have roommates. I've had some players that have had 3-4 roommates, and has been a lot more affordable than living on your own. So it just really depends on the school and scholarship situation, but you can definitely have your own room if you want. But I mean, it's also nice to have roommates because you're allowed to have friends right away, and you can meet people from different teams and just experience the different cultures. Next question, Sydney.
Hi, good evening. My
Hi.
question is, with regards to schools in Trinidad and Tobago, do you have a list of those schools that would qualify for the students not sitting SATs?
I don't have the list on me. I can ask Coach Troy if he knows exactly. But for me, it's more so I think it depends on just the school and how they're handling it now, since everything has happened with COVID. A lot has changed. So it's really, really hard for me to tell exactly where. But Coach Roy should know more about that.
Okay, thanks. Greatly appreciated.
Of course. Does scholarships cover medical and insurance? Another very good question. It depends on the school, I believe. At our school, it's not covered. I know if you're a citizen that you can have your own insurance, but I think a lot of it just depends on the school that you go to as well. But I don't want to answer for other schools just because everyone does it very, very differently. I know for our school, a lot of the time you have to pay for the insurance throughout the school. And I've also found other schools that I've had friends go to that they've covered it for them. So it's all situational, I believe. Tutors, there's a lot of different resources throughout the schools that you can get good help academically. For instance, with a lot of teams as well, we'll do like study lounges. Like after practice, we'll go into a classroom for an hour and we'll have everyone do their homework. Or like even at my school, I'll talk to the professors and they'll be able to meet up with people instantly. We have a writing lab. So a lot of schools have a lot of different opportunities to make sure that you're staying on top of your grade, helping you graduate.
Yes, guys, sorry about that. I know you guys lost me for a couple of seconds there. I was just, I was trying to adjust some of the different social media platforms that we are on, and I got lost. Video, everything got lost. So here I am. I'm back up. I think one of the questions were asked just now, Matt, and I was trying to analyze the questions because I think I'm not too sure if the question was being asked. The schools in Trinidad, I don't know if he was asking if the schools in Trinidad, if we know of the schools in Trinidad that don't have to do SATs or versus the schools in the United States. And I am gathering that might be the questions, but it's not really the schools in Trinidad. It's the schools in the US that you're going to. That is what Matt is referring to. He's referring to there are a number of schools in the US right now that is not asking for SATs because of the COVID. They waived it. And so it's not really the schools in Trinidad, it's the schools over here in the US. And even if you find out who those schools are, it still poses a problem, because if you're playing soccer, you might not get you in that school. You might get you in another school that requires you to do SATs. And then some of the schools that you're not doing SATs some of them have an entrance test that they would give you. And that entrance test is not really, you know, pass or fail. That entrance test is to really see where you are so they can place you in certain places. Because if a class takes, let's say, math, 30 kids in one class, and there's 45 kids trying to get you in that class, obviously it's too much kids. So the first 30 that has that grade, obviously that's the kids they're going to take in that class, and then they'll have to put you somewhere else. I think there was another question that came up just now. If I am not mistaken, can your CXC passes qualify you for schools? Yes, that's what you need, guys. Your CXC, Nicholas Rivers, yes, that's exactly what you need. Your CXC passes is what they're looking for. And the grades you get, 1, 2 kind of stuff, 3 sometimes in there, that's the grades that they're looking for. And then some schools need a science subject, right, Matt?
Yes.
Some schools require you to have a science subject to get in some of these schools that you're looking for. But you need those CXCs because that is the grades they're going to be looking at. Is there help for student athletes that may start to struggle amidst term of academics? Yes, Matt, you can take that. There's a lot of help in schools.
Yeah, so with everything that we do, especially even through our school, we have a lot of study sessions for our student athletes. We have tutors, we have writing labs, we have all different types of opportunities for you to make sure that you're getting opportunities to succeed in the classroom, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And it's free as well. So there's typically going to be free computers that you can use throughout, like at least at our school, we have 24/7 access that you can use computers. So, I mean, there are always opportunities that you can have success. The biggest thing is just don't shy away. It's just asking for help. People are always going to be willing to help you, especially if you're trying to better your future.
I see some more is coming up there. Some more questions, Mark, that is coming up. Any more questions too for the banking sector, guys? Because that is very, very important in terms of this, you know, in terms of how long does it take for you after you apply? Just to reiterate, how long does it take? For instance, someone apply for loan, how long does it take to get back a reply and be able to get that finances to start going? And do you give loans to, this is a kind of 2 or 3 part questions for, like, for instance, maybe a cellular phone. Now, someone might laugh at that. Why cellular phone? Trust me, you need one when you're here. Right, Matt?
Yes.
You need a cellular phone when you're here. You need a laptop when you're here. You need this kind of stuff. Even your cellular phone for WhatsApp to contact your parents. You no longer, you know, have to run up, you know, $1,000 phone bills. And the schools are properly wired, right, Matt, with internet systems and services. Fully wired.
I'll always have that.
Yeah, there's no issues. Don't ever break down with that, because if that break down, schools break down. It's fully wired for that kind of stuff. These are the kind of stuff that you need for that kind of stuff. What about, you know, inside of that loan, and this might be not a too uptick question, but I still ask it, you know, for kids who you would want, when you're looking at a loan to, you would want to think about if that state has snow, right? That 4 seasons that you have there. See, Matthew is supporting me, right, Matt?
Yes, right now.
Yeah, Matthew is my guy. Everything, guys, trust me, I've been doing this a long time now. So I fully have a grasp of this and deal with just kids in the US and kids abroad. These are things you want to think about. Because I know you guys know there was a massive snowstorm, 6 feet of snow and more. You're going to need gloves and hats and all this kind of stuff you're going to need, guys, for that season. So when you're dealing with a loan at that low interest rate, right, Lorena, you want to think about those kind of stuff, that snow is going to be coming, you know, 3 months a year, every year, and you're going to need those kind of stuff, right? Lorena?
Right. In terms of the time frame to get back feedback in terms of the help loan is usually 6 weeks from after the application has been submitted. in terms of our regular loan for the parent, based on the parent's credit score, debt service ratio, and employment status, if it's temporary contract or permanent, we can grant approval within 24 hours to 48.
Beautiful. And also too, there's a question here, and I would take that question. I know Matt could jump onto with that question. This is a good question, Bagu. There are schools in the US here, universities, that it's not all books. There are auto mechanic, there are masonry, nursing, plumbing, electrical. I have a school out in Texas, which is a 2-year school right now. I have a coach that will be visiting either Trinidad or the other Caribbean, and they have all that kind of stuff inside of there. You get a degree in those things. Because not everyone, you know, not everyone is into the books. I have to be honest with you. I am a hand guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hand guy, and I'm very quick off my mind and that kind of stuff, and chatting and all that kind of stuff. And read a lot and that kind of stuff. And I understand where you're coming from in terms of the question. Not everyone is cut out for that kind of stuff. Yes, because if everyone was cut out for that stuff, we would have problems, plumbing problems around the world. And electrical problems around the world that cannot be solved because everybody wants to be a doctor and a lawyer. How much people is going to get sick? So you got to believe in yourself and what you want to do. And you chart a course. You don't want to study to be, you know, study to be a nurse because your friend wants to be a nurse. Suppose you can't deal with surgery and all that kind of stuff. How are you going to be a nurse? And there's opportunities for all these things in the US, guys. So you know, people who want to be pilots and all that can look like Shaka. Shaka study, you know, in Howard, and you know, to be an astronaut and all that kind of stuff, space and all that kind of stuff. He dealt with engineering. I don't know. He dealt with, I played soccer with Shaka, that kind of stuff. That is not for me. But I want you guys to see any more questions there, guys, that popped up on the screen. One more question. I think there's a question. Can a student athlete go throughout to pro teams in the US? Can a student athlete go try out for pro? Matt, you want to adjust that, because I know there's new rules now in the collegiate soccer, Matt, if you're up to date with it.
So I'll answer this to my best ability. With a lot of student athletes, they're especially in the summertime, there's a lot of opportunities, especially with like MPSL, USL, like more of like a semi-pro type of all league. So there are a lot of different pathways that you're getting exposed to, like the higher levels, especially with how the new system is, because you have USL, USL2, USL Championship, which is right under MLS. So there are a lot more pathways to get looked at. And a lot of the players in that league have technically gotten drafted to the MLS. So even if you're not getting the tryouts right now, you're still able, if you're good enough, to get the exposure to allow you to move on.
Beautiful. Okay, guys, we're going to take the last set of questions. If you have any questions, this is the time for you to ask it, guys, before we say goodnight. If you have any more questions, this is the time for you to ask the questions. So if you do get selected for a semi-pro or pro team, do you have to finish finish school before you can go play, or can you transfer to a team? I'm trying to understand. If you get selected for pro, well, there's a lot of people right now playing semi-pro and pro soccer and still going to school, you know, guys. You can go to school online. Yeah.
My best advice is to get your degree.
Gotta have something to fall back on, right?
Oh, sorry?
Gotta have something to fall back on, right?
You have to, because I've had a lot of friends that played on the national team level. Actually, one of my best friends, he got picked up and was playing in Sweden and Denmark and got a foot injury right away. And he had to get a degree, and he was on a full ride before he went there. And then he had to start paying for school when he got back. So at the end of the day, your football career is so long. And trust me, football has been my life, my whole life. And my goal was always to be a professional athlete. Ran into some health issues, and I was like, I needed to have something to fall back on. But fortunately, I got my degree and I was allowed to go right into coaching. So just because you might not be a professional footballer, you might have the opportunity to be a professional coach or professional something else in the sport. So I would definitely do everything you possibly can to really push through the academics. So let's say you do get a professional contract, still, like Coach Roy said, get an online degree. There's so many opportunities out there. I know through the MLS, I believe they have a setup with Southern New Hampshire, I think it is.
Yes, yes.
Academic, is it free schooling through MLS?
Well, they give you a certain amount of support to go through the process, because they're trying to look out for you for when your career is over. Because you guys know the horror stories that we have around the world. A lot of guys played soccer for a lot of money, and their career is over. The money is gone, the friends are gone, and they're all alone, and they're studying, what do I do next? And that is a mistake you do not want to make. One of the mistakes I think a lot of guys made in the Caribbean too is that they come out here and they never put themselves in a position to continue here. And that's a major issue. When you come out here to go to school, you want to put yourself in a position that you can stay here and develop yourself here. So if, for instance, you go into school and you finish your 4-year school studies, you can be assistant coach at that school. You could be an assistant coach. You could get sponsored by the school, and then you can move into other things and build a life here. There are a lot of guys who didn't think about that because they were so happy to be here and happy to play professional soccer, whatever it is. And they did not see 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And now they're saying, I should have done this and I should have done that. And you don't want to limit your opportunities, guys. That is something you don't want to do. As Matthew is saying, you can play soccer for so long. You don't want to. Coaching is just so much opportunities in this place for coaching. Matt will tell you, so much opportunities for coaching, and the paid coach is good too. Clubs and schools and high schools and junior colleges and universities, there's a lot of opportunity. If you're playing soccer, you can also, while you're going to school, you know, you can do your exams to get coaching license. While you're going to school, guys, these are things you can look into. When you leave school, you can have your license to coach. And some clubs will sponsor you and keep you there in the US. Yeah, guys, this is what I'm saying. Soccer is only the vehicle we're using, and the bank is here to give you that money to put gas in your tank so that vehicle can move. Right, ladies? That's what it is. You're using soccer, that ball, to get you a better life. And you got to be prepared for that better life. There's no going back on yesterday to fix it. You have to think about these things. You got to do your training. You got to develop yourself off season. You got to get in the gym. You got to work out. You got to play. You got to get that first touch on the ball. That's another thing I saw down there, Matt. First touch on the ball needs to fix. You need to get that first touch. You need to have vision, foresight, and also too, you need to be thinking. What do I need to do, or what do I need to have, and the qualities I need to have to get into college, and not just get in there, stay in there and be successful. Now, the bank has brought to you one of the main ingredients you need in Trinidad. The bank has just given you one of the main ingredients. You don't need to go and take out a loan for $400-something thousand. You don't. But you can take out a loan now with all that information you're getting to be able to assist you with paying to get you to school. Because a lot of the kids that I work with, if I had only knew about this, I would have sent them to the bank. Because some of them were struggling with tickets and laptop and the visa appointment to pay for it. And some of their parents, and I'm going to send a lot of people your way right now for them to chat with you guys, because some of them are going to school and some of their parents too are really trying their best to really keep them there and get them going. And they could come to you too, and they have that time frame after they finish school to pay, so parents wouldn't be stressed out. And then another thing I work with schools too, guys, is that if, for instance, you have to pay $5,000, like I had 3 or 4 months ago, I have 3 girls from Grenada and 2 from St. Vincent, and to get into school, and they needed only $5,000 each. That's all. The school provided everything, man, even the books and all. And schools don't usually provide that kind of stuff for you. The school provided everything. They needed $5,000 each. And I had some discussions with the Minister of Sports and the PS in St. Vincent, and we had some discussions, and I explained to them what I'm doing, and they said, Coach Roy, this is good. We love what you're doing. We're going to help these girls. And they are now writing a check for $5,000 every year to pay for the housing for these kids that is in school. The school provided everything, the insurance, everything. They just needed $5,000 a year. So practically, man, that may be what, a scholarship of 95% or something like that? Yeah, that may be a 95% scholarship those girls get. But they still had to put out something, and their tickets they have to pay for. Yes. I don't think we have any more questions. I'm not seeing any more questions, guys.
Hi, Coach Roy. I have some questions. I didn't type. I asked my questions verbally.
Go ahead. Nice to hear Trini's voice, other than everyone that is here. Go ahead.
Yes.
You guys have any doubles? You guys have any doubles down there for me, man?
We always have doubles.
Marina, you got any doubles there for Coach Roy?
We always have. When you come next time, you'll have some.
I must let you guys know. I took these guys before you start. Matthew shaking his head there, guys. Simona, let me explain something to you. See that food by that savannah there? That strip? Matthew and these guys were just killing that food. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They were just eating. We were just there, and they were eating just about everything. And trust me, I don't want anything else. I just like my hot doubles in my hand, and I was just tearing away doubles after doubles and pie and everything, just eating. Trust me. And everybody, you're laughing at me, Rui. Why are you laughing at me? You guys are happy. You guys in Trinidad, I have to drive about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to get doubles, guys. You guys have it outside. And I was just playing with pies and doubles like there's no tomorrow. All my nose had curry on it, and my face had curry. I didn't care. But those guys enjoyed themselves. They had a lot of food. They ate curry soup. They eat things they never ate in their life. Fried bacon, shark, and Matthew put on some size, man.
Oh, I loved it.
Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face.
The roti was my favorite. And bacon shark, oh, to die for.
You see what I'm saying, guys? You guys have that every single day. And hot shop roti, I took them for, and that kind of thing. Okay, ma'am, you can go ahead and answer your question. Look, Matthew can't stop. He's just shaking his head. He can can those things and bring them up the road. Someone had a question. Sorry, ma'am, you could go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, Coach Roy. Miss Mendoza here.
Yes, Ms. Yes.
I'm going back to one of the questions that the parents asked concerning dorms.
Yes.
Coach Miller. I know some schools, because I'm talking from experience, I have been on a full ride as well. Some schools with full scholarships don't allow you to live off campus. If you're a full ride student and you, however, have family that lives close to the college, are you allowed to live home or not?
It depends on the school and the situation. For at least our school, if you're under the age of 20, you have to live on campus. I've talked to some other friends lately, and it depends on how old you are, but every single school has different rules and different situations. Some schools might allow you to live off campus, but typically if they're paying for everything, it's going to be allowing you to stay in the dorms. So it honestly just depends on the school and the situation that you're in.
Okay, great. Next question. Coach Roy mentioned that a lot of students doesn't look beyond the length of time that they are there for studying. So the 4 years bracket, and after you've completed and get your degree, you know, some of us don't think beyond or know what coming next. But I know, judging from experience again, as Coach Roy stated, after you completed in 4 years, and it so happened that the school is to offer you a job as a coach or something else, do you all assist with the embassy back here for the individuals to get that permission to stay there to work? Because the embassy here, when coming to scholarship, they only sometimes grant you the time for the scholarship only. They don't grant you beyond that time. So sometimes the embassy will grant you 2 years when the ride is for 4 years. So you then have to come back and renew the visa to go again for the additional 2 years. It have instances where they will give you the 4 years, and as that 4 years is completed, you have to return here, because remember, the students will be on a student visa. It is not a work visa, and it's not a or work permit, or is not as in citizenship. So what is in place for these students who so happen to be successful or decide to go on or probably find a job within the US after completing the 4 years? Do the school put things in provision for that when that takes place?
Matt, I want to go after that a little bit before you do. Ma'am, the school doesn't really put things in place for that, because the school have you there for a certain time, right? But you have to show the desire to want to coach at that school, and the school might be able to sponsor you, yes, to be able to coach at that school as an assistant coach. That is some of the things that could happen, and through you there now being sponsored, that helps with getting the paperwork through to the university, to the embassy and all that kind of stuff, where you may have to come back down the road and go back up, because you show now the school that you're competent enough to be able to coach at the school as an assistant coach, and that will be able to help you with being able to stay there at the school and coach. All these things is things that you have to show the initiative. The school is not going to just come to you, and I know that is not what you're saying, but the school is not going to come to you to ask you if you want to do that. You have to be able to show the initiatives. That is why I say to student athletes, when you go to a college or a university, you need to assist your coach. You can't just go to school and don't help them with anything. You need to help them. Show some sort of interest in what is happening, and show that you're a team player. Show that you want to help the coach, and then discuss these things with the coach. So the coach have an idea. Look, this guy wants to stay on to the school and coach. Then the coach will start, making some arrangements to try and help you with those kind of stuff. Yes.
Could I add that
Sure.
too?
Sure.
So with that, that being said as well, there's a lot of opportunities with getting a free master's with being a graduate assistant, which gets you completely into the college coaching game as well. So I know I did that as a player, and there's almost every school, every 4-year school who has a master's program has graduate assistants, and it could allow you to get completely into the door, but also allows you to extend your degree, because a lot of schools and a lot of different job forces are asking for your master's. So, I mean, it's definitely something you can look at, but it's an easy path to get into the coaching world, especially if you want to coach college. So, I mean, that could definitely extend it. And then, like, if you look around the country throughout all the different levels, I would say over half of the coaches or more are international. So there's a lot of different opportunities for international coaches.
Okay, great, coach. This is for First Citizens Bank. You all indicated that for the student help loan, if I'm saying it correct, I don't know if I missed anywhere in between, it takes 6 weeks. Question, why so long? Because sometimes when a student is offered a scholarship, majority of the times it's closer to the time when they're supposed to leave and start school, and 6 weeks is kind of long to wait for an approval to know if you're getting assistance to travel or to purchase a plane ticket or to do anything of the sort pertaining to the school. So why is it so long? Why 6 weeks and versus the parent, which is 24 hours?
Okay, the help loan procedure, basically the 6 weeks is the government decision in order for the ministry to grant the approval. That is their procedure as compared to the bank in terms of the parent having the loan done in the parent name. With the student loan, the approval has to come from the ministry, and the 6 week is their waiting period, because the reason for that is that there's a committee that goes through the application and grant the funding. And only the committee sits on it, sits to make a decision maybe 6 times for the year. Hence the reason for they implementing the 6 week wait period.
Okay, so then parents need to have a plan B.
Yeah.
Because your child may not be approved. So if this parent, let us say, is a part-time worker, then it's even harder for that parent. Because if the parent don't qualify for that loan as well, then the child has no chances.
Well, let me add inside of that, two ladies. There's something I'd like to add in there too. There is the bank too, and there are different places too that you can get help, and you can do it in different places. One of the places you can also go to is the Sports and Culture Fund. That is the office of the Prime Minister, I believe, in Sinclair. You can go there too. There's some forms to fill out that would be able to assist you too. That's through the Ministry of Sports, that you would be able to get help there. And to answer your question too, that's the reason why I am doing what I'm doing so early in the year. I'm going to repeat that, guys, so you have a better understanding. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing so early in the year, because you mentioned just now, when kids get a scholarship, that is the time they have a month or so. This is where the problem lies. That's why I have events in March, January, February, and when I do one in December, it's for the next year. So that eliminates that kind of stuff, where you have an event, and the event, the next month, the kids needs to go to school, and you have 6 or 7 weeks. If you look at what we're doing at AR Studio Athletes, you would see it's properly studied and mapped out in what we are doing, because we are very experienced in what we are doing. So for instance, we have a number of kids right now from Trinidad who's in discussions right now with some of those schools in the US who came to Trinidad, right? Some of them are in discussions right now, right? And if they're offered scholarships right now, they are not going to go to school right now. They're going to start school in the next 4, 5, 6 months or so. That's why we did what we did in December. So right now they are in discussions. You can ask Coach Matt, and Coach Matt will tell you. There are kids right now speaking to some of those coaches that came to Trinidad. And then I have some coaches too that I send the information to, and I'm setting up some meetings coming here with some of those guys to chat. They don't need those kids in January, February, March, April. They need those kids in the next 5 or 6 months from now. So they need some of those kids to start organizing to come to school, right, Matt?
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that is why I said to you guys, we are doing things in a manner different from other people, because a lot of guys are organizing things on the cusp of for you to go to school, and that is why also to be arranging to do something with Form 1s, Form 2, Form 3s, Form 4, and Form 5, because we need to get these kids ready from that age to get into school. So we don't have that problem that you are talking about now. You build credit with First Citizens Bank already, and you've been saving there for 4 or 5 years. That is what they do in United States with kids. Ask Matt. Matt might tell you his parents may have been saving maybe, what, 6, 8, 9, 10 years before he started to go to school.
Yeah, they start really young. They have prepaid from early in high school or even younger. Some of my friends had it from very, very young, where they tried to keep on adding up for years.
Yeah, I did that with my eldest daughter. She was about 3 years old. And I started a fund for her for university over here. One of those plans I started. Yeah. And this is what the problem we have in Trinidad and in the Caribbean. And that is why I said March we want to have something, July we want to have something. Bank is being involved in it, because this is why they're here, to engage you, to let you know what is there. So you come to these camps, and we have the bank and them talk face to face with you and personal discussions with you. And they have a number of other things they want to offer you guys. Not just that, they have different things, maybe mortgages you're interested in, purchasing a vehicle, all that kind of stuff. These are things they would want to chat with you. While you're there talking about your kids, you can have discussions with them. Right, ladies? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can have discussions with them pertaining to all these different things. So this is why we're bringing these important organizations together, so you have the supporting cast for your journey to be a successful one. I don't think we have any more questions. I'm not seeing any more questions coming up. To those of you who did not get their evaluation form, I know over 150 or 160 evaluation forms went out already. I am putting some together again. We already have them here. We're just getting them sorted out. I think the issue we had with that, though, is that a lot of people did not go on the website and register, and that posed a lot of issues, guys. And it's really, you know, I'm really trying my best to see how best I can fix that, because you needed to go there to get it done. And I go 7 days a week. I am coaching constantly, and then traveling constantly, and then in meetings like this constantly, and then speaking with coaches. So you understand what my time is. And because, you know, we don't want to give you an information on CIC grounds, and you didn't follow that information, and you were supposed to follow that information. And so now what you're doing, you're taking out of my time when that could have been solved, and you could have been one of that person in that 150 persons or 60 persons we send out evaluation form. And I personally send out those forms, myself and TB. A lot of work, guys, behind the scenes that we are doing to help you guys. Yeah. So once again, any last words, ladies, that you guys would like to leave us with before we close up the show? And as I said before, this is just a groundbreaking. It's being shown on social media sites right now, ladies, just to let you know. And, you know, this has never happened any part of the world before, guys. It has never happened. I have to say that. I'm not going to tweet my horn, but this is the first time this kind of stuff has really happened, where you bring bank together with student athletes and parents, and then you bring a professional coach, and then you bring coaches. And the coaches we had from the US, from France, from England, from Brazil, and Argentina. We had coaches from some of the top countries in Trinidad in December. And I'll show it in again. We had some double steak. Anything you ladies want to leave us with from here, and we look forward for Citizens Bank to working with you guys again in Trinidad with the camps that is coming up, where we would have all the parents and all that kind of stuff there. That's it, Simone. You can leave your information there on the screen. They'll send your information there on the screen. They can contact you. And before the ladies come in, I want to thank all the sponsors that participated in the event. As you see, it's behind me, and everyone I chat with, it's going to remain there. And then I do a show on collegiate coaches. I bring collegiate coaches, professional coaches, managers, professional players, student athletes. I bring them on my set just like you here, and we have discussions about school, and those signs are going to stay there. So for Citizens, you're going to be going up on social media sites, and this is the kind of content that will be going on around the world. Carrying your logo, Police Credit Union, thank you very much. All the different sponsors that we have with us that helped us, right, with us. Stacy, thank you so much for all your help, and everyone that made Trinidad and Tobago possible. CIC and the convent feel, everyone, all the coaches, I know some of them are here. We really do want to thank you for your effort in Trinidad, and all the kids, over 300 and something kids turn out in Trinidad to participate in events. Ladies, anything you guys, ladies, want to add, feel free to add to us.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. I shared our email addresses and contact numbers. Rohini will just share her extension with you. Right, so I know you may think about questions after or off screen. You can feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist in any way we can, right? Feel free to reach out to us.
Any other questions, guys? Anyone else has any questions they wanna share? Anything they want to say? For Citizens Bank, once again, I know you ladies didn't see those photos, but this is a photo we put up on the screen. Thank you guys so much for your help. And as you see, the amount of kids we have, they're going all the way back. There are different rows of kids and parents. This is what it was like in Trinidad. Just huge amount of kids tune on, and that wasn't all kids, because we still had kids playing on the soccer field whilst this was going on when we were taking on some of these photos. And from my calculation, we had over 300 and something kids turn out, student athletes turn out, plus parents, and you see all the parents there. Teresa, I can see Teresa here from South with the sun and that kind of stuff. Guys, as I said, once again, thank you so much for being a part of this groundbreaking exercise today. I want to thank Trudy. Thank you so much for your efforts, Trudy, and for everything your company has done for us and continue to do. And as we continue to support each other and build, we look forward to having you guys a part of the camp, because I know this camp is going to be good, where we're bringing down some top athletes down in Trinidad, top coaches. And as we continue to chart a course in Trinidad, and I must say to you parents who are here, there's a number of people from the Caribbean was asking me, Anthony, could we come this? And I explained to them, this is for Trinidad kids only. And they're trying to get me down to their Caribbean island to work with them and put the same infrastructure in place. For a citizen, you need to open a branch in every Caribbean country. Because we need this throughout the Caribbean, and I go all over the Caribbean and they don't have this kind of stuff. And they're seeing me put this up on social media and seeing we coach have a bank working with these kids for them to get a loan. We need that kind of stuff. St. Lucia, Antigua, Grenada, all these countries need it. So once again, I'll leave you guys with this photo. Thank you guys so much. Looking forward to communicating with you guys as we have the WhatsApp group. I believe we have in our WhatsApp group over close to 300 and something people in that WhatsApp group. And then we have 2 other WhatsApp groups, one with over 270 something, and then another one with over 240 something kids and parents inside of there. And also, guys, please go up on the YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's everything you have there in the YouTube channel inside of there. And I'm going to be discussing some things with the bank too, because some things are coming up in my mind that the bank would like for instance, SATs. That is something that needs to be paid for. Loans can be taken out to go and do your SATs if kids want to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. Thank you guys again so much, student athletes and parents. And you have the information there for the ladies in the bank, and for us, you can make contact with us, and be looking forward to communicating with you again, having another session like this to communicate. And those of you who are US residents or US citizens, please text me privately, because it's much more easier for you to get into school because you're already qualified already. You can text me. Matt, anything you want to add? And ladies, anything you want to add before we close the show tonight? Thanks again, Trudy.
Just one thing for me is to all the parents. It's honestly, I've worked with a lot of different companies. I've worked with a lot of different coaches, and I've never been at anything apart like this before. And it's honestly a blessing. There isn't someone that cares about you guys as much as Coach Roy does. Coach Roy has done everything in the world to make sure that you guys are creating opportunities. And honestly, no other agency I've ever been a part of has ever done this. So take advantage of this. It's honestly a true blessing. And honestly, I'm always going to be here for you guys as well. I really want to see all of you guys succeed, and we will make sure that you guys have success.
Anything,
Hi,
ladies?
Roy, could you share that link one more time, please?
The link, which one of them may I ask?
For the YouTube.
Or the YouTube channel is AR Student Athlete Soccer Scholarship Academy, my company's name. There's over 190 something videos I have done there with coaches, with student athletes, with parents. And this video too is going to be edited and put up there, guys. And all your videos that you send me for your kids, those videos go up on that site. I send collegiate coaches to there. And this is how we want this thing to work, guys. We want to be able to get your kids in school, and then we send them across to the bank where they could get the proper financial backing, and they get into school, they get the degrees, become successful in what they're doing, and move on to be productive citizens. That is what we're putting in place. Yeah, guys, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening. Ladies from the bank, thank you very much for your time and your professionalism and making this possible, this groundbreaking exercise. And we look forward to having you guys, and I'm going to show one at Trudy on the field with us when we visit Trinidad again, to be fully engaged. And I know, as I said, the one we're going to do in July, it's going to be huge with Form 1s to Form 5s. That one, parents who are here, we're going to be doing soccer in the camps on the field, and we're going to have classroom sessions on savings, right, guys, from the bank? How you save and how you open a banking account and Visa card. We're going to work with the kids to teach them how to save money for their future. All this kind of stuff we are working with the bank with, guys. The only thing I ask for you guys is when I come down with Trinidad, Matt, that you guys put aside the double swing.
I'm all for it.
Have a wonderful evening, guys. Take care of yourself. And Coach Roy saying much love to you guys. And thank you guys again for having us in Trinidad. And we are coming back pretty soon. And the First Citizens Bank, all the sponsors, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. And I'm looking forward to a number of these kids here in the photos heading off to school pretty soon and having a wonderful career and a better life. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and God's richest blessings, good health, most importantly, good health, good strength, and much love to you guys. Have a wonderful evening. take care of yourselves. See you ladies, see you guys. God richest blessings. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a good night.